Hello again, I'm Rick Silvestrini, and I'm joined here in the lobby by the CEO of creativeLIVE, Mika Salmi.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Mika, what does it mean to be opening the San Francisco office?
It means we're growing. We are growing. We are a big company. Oh no, we're not a big company, but we are growing, and we needed more studio space, so San Francisco was an obvious choice for us.
And now, why was San Francisco an obvious choice and not, say, New York or LA?
I would say it's talent, both talent on the tech side, but also talent on the teaching side. So we are not a pure media company. If we were a pure media company, I'd be like, okay, LA, New York, we're not. We are a tech media kind of cross company. And here, there's amazing talent. So for example, we have a guy from Netflix running our product. We've got yourself from Google. And we also have talent here too. So people like Tim Ferriss, he lives here in the city. I can go on and on. A lot of our instructors today, they all live here. So it's a great place for us to get instructors.
Fantastic. And when you say that we're a technology platform, what does that mean a little bit? How are we trying to use additional technology to improve the education experience?
Well, as you know, as we are right now, we're live. That's a big deal. And being live means that people can interact with us, even though no one's asking questions now, but there are channels for people to ask questions from the instructors. They can interact with each other. And so building all these kind of social elements requires technology. So I think broadcast technology has been around since television started. So that's not so difficult, though it is not that easy on the internet. But doing the whole social aspect and all the kind of other stuff that you can do nowadays with the internet is very important. So we're integrating all that into kind of one package. I think that's a very unique thing that no one else is doing out there.
Awesome. And so tell us a little bit about the space. How long have you been working on getting this together? I know this has been a big project for you.
So I officially became CEO just over a year ago, and I looked for a space for 2 months. I probably saw 45 spaces in San Francisco. This space used to be Zynga. Used to be in here. And we had some interesting requirements for a space for a company. We needed high ceilings because we have this jib cameras that basically swing around. So we needed very high ceilings with no pillars. So no pillars so that when we take shots and we have an audience, there's no pillars in the way. So it's very hard to find a big open space that's tall with no pillars.
And San Francisco has some unique constraints in that because of the earthquake code, there aren't many pillarless buildings with that much open space, right?
That is exactly right. So we struggle to find a good space, and I personally love this location. It's Potrero Hill, so it's a neighborhood. We got Whole Foods across the street. We have trees. We've got free parking, but yet we're right in the city. I mean, we have a view of the city from this office. I mean, and literally it's 5 minutes you're in downtown. So it's not like we're out in the suburbs or anything.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit about the construction process, maybe a little bit about the space itself?
So we had the same architect here that did our space in Seattle. So all the desks, the style, it feels like our Seattle space. So we wanted to have a very similar feel in our offices. So when you enter creativeLIVE in Seattle or enter creativeLIVE in San Francisco, it feels like creativeLIVE. And so we actually had the desks and all the furniture made in Seattle and shipped down here. And like I said, the architect is from Seattle.
That's fantastic. And what are some of the other unique elements in the space? It's a little hard to see right now, but we've got photography everywhere, for example. Like, what's the inspiration and the theme behind that?
So as I was saying, we have a view of San Francisco out of our windows, and the windows are these paned leaded glass windows. And so we basically took that theme and said, wow, a view of the city. Why don't we take views of the cities all over the world and have it and overlay a paned glass kind of theme on it? Because the thought is that we actually broadcast to the world. So our most popular classes have reached over 190 countries. I'm sure today we're going to be well over 100 countries watching this. And so we feel like we're part of the world when we broadcast. And so we're not just broadcasting locally like a local newscaster or something. We are a global internet broadcast company. And so by having these images of the world, like in this room right here, we have Tokyo, we have the fish market in Tokyo, we've got Vancouver, we have Seattle, Paris, and San Francisco, and then we have 22 cities in the whole office. And so you feel like, wow, we're looking out at the world, and the world is watching us also.
Reflecting that global audience. Speaking of a global audience, the Secrets from Silicon Valley event is sort of a real milestone for creativeLIVE. We've got some of the best thinkers and speakers on business topics coming up over the next 2 days. So what does this mean for creativeLIVE in the business sense? And does this mean that San Francisco is going to be like the hub of our business classes?
We are doing a lot of business classes for this event, but it's not going to be necessarily the hub. So for us, it's more about where the instructor is, what's the right location for them. So we've done classes here before in San Francisco from a rented studio. We've done classes in Las Vegas. We've done classes in New York. We've done classes on rooftops, in parks, in churches. So in terms of being business oriented, no. We've had photography classes already here in San Francisco from that rented studio. So we're going to have whatever is the right class for the right location, where we can get the right instructor and the right audience. Because we have a studio audience also. So I think you'll see all kinds of classes coming from the San Francisco studio.
Terrific. And speaking of the classes that are coming up over the next 2 days, who are kind of some of the people you're looking forward to hanging out with?
I'm looking forward to the last class of both days. So today we have Nirav and Sarah talking about how do you assess a business, and they are both amazing presenters, and so I think they're going to be good teachers today on that. And then tomorrow we have Megan Smith, who was a little construction happening still out there. We have Megan Smith, who was one of the founders of Google.org and is a VP at Google X, and she is really an engaging woman. I'm looking forward to seeing her speak tomorrow at the end of the day.
Terrific. You mentioned earlier about the team that you're building here, talent from the Valley. I'm just curious, who's your favorite employee so far that you've hired?
Oh, Rick, I love you. You're the best.
Such an unfair question. Well, I've got the microphone, so I figured I would throw it out there. Anything else that you want to tell the folks in our global audience right now?
Come visit us. So I think it's what's really cool is we have people compete to be in the studio audience for our classes, and so I would encourage people, if they see a workshop or a teacher that they really want to learn from, to actually apply to be here in person. And if you come in person, you'll be able to be in the studio audience. You can hang out with us in the office. It's a very cool thing to actually be here in person. Obviously, if you can't do that, watch it on the internet live.
That's a great point. There actually is like a real conference feel here today. There's a bunch of, this is the largest studio audience that we've had for a creativeLIVE class. We've got 2 studios going with packed audiences, other people milling about in the offices, eating food and chit-chatting. So it is an opportunity to engage with peers who are creative entrepreneurs, with our instructors outside of the classroom setting. So I think it's a great point for our audience, that we really do want to not only meet you online from Facebook and Twitter and Google+, but we also want to engage with you in person. So if you can travel to Seattle or San Francisco, apply to be in one of our classes. We would love to have you come out and hang out with us in person, try to help you learn new skills and techniques that will improve your business and life. And I think with that, I am going to seize the opportunity to fulfill a lifelong, well, not a lifelong dream of mine, but a current dream of mine. We're going to go back to Studio D, where I'm going to be interviewing Dale Stevens, and who was previously on creativeLIVE. So I actually get to do the Stephen Colbert style, throw it to myself in another room.
Good luck with that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mika. And